Hi guys, Jess Appeal here. Welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be talking you guys through my game week 1 updated draft. So 11 days till the game week 1 deadline comes, and with the deadline closer than ever, I think we will all have a rough idea of how do we line up come game week 1. So there is changes and a lot has changed since my last video. So with a whole preseason coming to an end, I think we all have a rough idea how we're going to line up come game week 1. So a lot has changed, and I'm going to be talking you guys through everything, all the changes and all the main talking points, and some players that I will keep my eye on come game week 1. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into it. So starting off with my Liverpool players, Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Mohamed Salah, and Luis Diaz. These players, I think Trent and Salah is pretty much nailed out. I think there is a small argument not to go for them, but I think if you're not going for them, it's a big risk. Look at their ownership. Salah, second most owned player in the game, behind Gabriel Jesus. Salah, I think, is so crucial to our team. I think it's just you can't go without him. I think he's very crucial, gets 200 plus points every season, very consistent, and he's a great captaincy option as well. And with the great fixtures Liverpool have to start the season, I think he's just a no-brainer to go for. Next, we have Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I think for 7.5 mil, I think if he was 8.5, come in a bit more expensive, we would consider not going for him. But currently, at 7.5 mil, he's, I think, the same price he did start last season. So again, he's going to get 200 plus points every week, maybe more, and I think he has the potential to haul every week. So I think these two Liverpool players are nailed on in my team. The third spot is you could consider Alisson. I think Alisson will be the fifth choice. I think my third choice will be Diaz, and my fourth choice will be Robertson. Now, it's really close between Diaz and Robertson because they both are priced really well. Really, I think underpriced slightly, and especially Diaz. Diaz, you could say he's the second Sadio Mane. Mane, last time in FPL, he was priced at 12, 11.5, around that premium price point. And with Luis Diaz coming in at 8.0, I think it's just offers such great value. You know, you could get a lot of players at around his price as well. Maddison, Foden, Mahrez, Kulusevski. These players are the sort of quality players you could get, and I think Diaz is on another level between those. I think you could say Diaz and Foden are, in my opinion, the best two 8.0 midfielders. Now, there is Bowen as well for 0.5 more expensive, but I just see there's no way, a cheap way to go into that Liverpool attack, you know, with players like Jota, Darwin Núñez priced at 9 mil. You could say this is one of the cheapest ones in the attack. And with Diogo Jota out injured for the start of the season, Firmino rumored to leave, I think Juventus have put in a bid for Firmino. I think Diaz just looks more nailed on, and with Sadio Mane going out the door, I think Diaz will take his spot down the left wing, and I think with all those injuries and rumors of players leaving, I think Diaz is a no-brainer. I think he will fit in my team, and you know, it's really close between him and Robertson. Robertson is just, you don't have Diaz, you are hoping for that goal or the assist, and I think Robertson has the potential to haul double digits. It's easier for Robertson to haul because all he needs is a clean sheet and attacking return, an assist, a goal, and he could get 15, 11 points, get some bonus points. So I think Robertson, throughout the short period of time, I think Robertson has the potential to get more points than Diaz. But of course, we are talking about first 8 game weeks, so I think Diaz as well will be very close to Robertson, because if Diaz gets the minutes, his data look brilliant. I know he's not the best at that price point if you're looking at expected data. Of course, you have Foden and Mahrez, who's better than him, but he's the third best. And I think it's not about the data. Those data are per 90, so it's about how much minutes the player gets. And if Diaz is going to get minutes with those injuries, I think he will be the better one. Because if I'm going for a City option, like I did have Foden and Mahrez in one of my previous drafts, and I think because I went for them because they had a really good expected data. But now with a lot of, you know, Jack Grealish, Julian Alvarez coming in, I think there will be rotation in that City side. So with Liverpool, I think Diaz, a cheap way to go into that Liverpool attack, and he is massively underpriced in my opinion. I think Robertson is great. I really love the sound of Robertson, but I think there is going to be more defenders around that price of Robertson, 6 mil, 5.55 mil, I think offers more value than those cheaper midfielders. So I think going for Diaz, he takes a 8 mil spot. Flexibility will be really crucial, and I think at one point we will own each, or at one point of the season we would want every 8 mil midfielder. So I think Diaz, to get that flexibility in midfield, the structure of the team, I think Diaz fits my structure better, and I prefer Diaz. Next, we have our Arsenal players, and I'm gonna be tripling up on Arsenal. Now, they had a strong start to the preseason. Arsenal, they've won all their preseason games. So Arsenal have a really strong preseason, and I am actually a really big fan. I pay a lot of attention to preseason, and a lot of my drafts has changed because of preseason results. Now, we can't really fully rely on preseason. Of course, it is preseason in the end, and it's just to get players warmed up. But I think preseason will play a big role, because as we see Chelsea, they have not played the greatest. They haven't had the greatest preseason. So that put me off, Chilwell doubling up on the Chelsea defense. I think that's a wait and see for. But for Arsenal, they have actually started preseason really well. And let's start off by talking with Zinchenko. He's joined from City, and I think he's a brilliant signing. Now, if you're telling me he was signed to play the left back role, I disagree, because they have Tavares there who can play there. They have Tierney, and then they have Zinchenko. So I don't think he was signed to play the left back role. I think he was signed to play as a central midfielder. In that midfielder attacking positions, the more advanced role in the team, to make, to create chances for the attack. And I think he plays there for Ukraine, so he's had experience there. And I think Arteta is a big fan of playing Zinchenko there. And I think Zinchenko also likes to play more advanced up the pitch. So Zinchenko, I think at 5 mil, and if he's playing at central midfield, even at left back, I think offers really great value. And actually, if you're looking at expected data, he has very similar stats to the players like Cancelo and Robertson. So he is cheaper than them, and at only 5 mil to sneak our way. There is 4.5 players like Ben White, Tomiyasu at that price point, but for 0.5 more, you could get a player like Zinchenko, who will play more advanced in the Arsenal team, and will also have a potential to play out of position, to play central midfield. So I think out of position, and I think if you have the whole Arsenal full strength team, I think Tierney will start at the left back row, and Zinchenko will probably be playing central midfield. So an out of position player, I think at that 5.0 price point, there is a lot of great players to pick from. Trippier I like, and for 0.5 cheaper, I also like Botman, Dalot. But with the great fixtures Arsenal have, I think, if I go for Botman, they play Man City in game week 3. I will have to rotate, and I'm not a big fan of playing, rotating my players. I just think that at 5 mil, I see myself starting him every week and just not worrying about him, because the fixtures look great, and I think Arsenal have looked very well at preseason. He started as left back in his debut against Chelsea in a 4-0 win, but I think he will shift to that midfield role, and Arsenal's defense have looked really good during preseason. 2 clean sheets they have kept during preseason, so it looks strong as well. Moving on to Martinelli, he's getting a lot of minutes in preseason, and I think he will be the starting left winger in the Arsenal team. I think Smith Rowe hasn't gotten that much of minutes, and Martinelli is starting most of preseason games, getting really a lot of minutes, and I think Arteta favoured him over Smith Rowe. So maybe throughout the first 5 to 6 game weeks we see Martinelli, but maybe throughout the season we see more Smith Rowe. But we are of course aiming for that first 7 to 8 game week period, because of course with the extra wild card during game week 17 during the World Cup, I think we will be looking to play our wild card during game week 8 and 9. So Martinelli, I think a short term, if you're looking throughout, then I think he offers great value at 6 mil. There is a lot of players around that price point, you could say. Bruno Guimaraes, you get Bailly for 1 mil cheaper. So I think Martinelli, if he starts, his stats look brilliant, and he's already picking up form in preseason. 1 goal and 3 assists in preseason. Great data. I think Arsenal looking good as well. I think he could be a really good option. And lastly, Gabriel Jesus, the most owned player in the game, and it's unbelievable, to be fair. I didn't expect him to be this popular, and I think ownership does come into play when you're picking up players, because of course you won't want to go massively differential in your team. You will want to have a bit more template of a team, and I think Gabriel Jesus, I think he's a must-own in everyone's team, because first you are taking a big risk not to go for Gabriel Jesus, and you're also going against the crowd. So I think at that 8 mil price point, you have players like Havertz. You could get Carl Wilson for 0.5 cheaper, but I just think Jesus, he offers great value. His stats actually look really well, and his stats is actually way better than the players like Havertz, Benford, your Carl Wilsons, your Mika Antonio. He's just on another level. So I think he is, we were expecting 9 mil, 8.5, even 9.5 mil for Gabriel Jesus, because he is gonna be that main man up front for Arsenal. And I think for 8 mil, it's an absolute bargain. That's why a lot of people, and that's why he's the most owned player in the game. And with those great fixtures, I just see Jesus one of a great option to have. 4 goals and 1 assist in his first 4 games for Arsenal. It's just brilliant stats. He's already getting used to the Arsenal system. He's getting used to his new teammates, and I think he will be really good this season. I think that forward spot, hopefully, not like last season. I think this season we will see more forwards get more points, and I think Jesus would be one. And some might say Nketiah has also looked really well in preseason, but Arsenal actually changed their formation at some point in the preseason, and they have played with 2 up front. So maybe when Arsenal are playing like a low block team, a team hard to break down, they could shift to a 2 up front, which that is good news for us Gabriel Jesus owners, because maybe if they were still sticking with the 4-2-3-1, we could see Nketiah getting minutes, taking minutes off Jesus. But if they're playing a front 2, if they're experimenting that, we could see Arteta implementing that formation. Maybe when they are tied or they are trying to find a goal, I think Gabriel Jesus, he will get minutes, and with Nketiah also looking good form, we could see a 2 up front and a change of formation for Arsenal. So Gabriel Jesus looks really well, and I'm really happy to have him in my team. Next, we have my Man City players, Erling Haaland and Joao Cancelo. Now, Haaland, he's come in and out my drafts. I think I really like Harry Kane, because I'm a big fan of Prem Proven, and Harry Kane's look really well, really sharp during preseason, Spurs as well. But Haaland, that one goal, he scored 1 goal within 12 minutes of his debut, and that is brilliant. So that did, that did caused me to change my decision on Haaland, but still 12 minutes and he's already got a goal. That's how fast he can adapt. And if you're saying that it's going to be hard to adapt, we've seen it before. Timo Werner, Havertz, they took time to adapt to the Prem, and they haven't had that high. They had a really high potential, and they didn't live up to the hype. But Erling Haaland, he's a generational talent. I think he will perform at the biggest stage in the Premier League. I think he will adapt to it, and I think Pep will make him work. And I think Haaland at 11.5 is a reasonable price, because he's coming into a new league where we don't know what to expect from him. He could flop, and there is a big potential of that. But of course, 58% ownership, and there is that potential to do massively well or do really, really poor. And I think I am willing to take the gamble and hopefully end on the good side, and hopefully Haaland does really well, because 58% of managers are with me. And I think, again, it's game week 1. I really like to play safe, and I think differentials come throughout later on the season. I just think going with the template, going with the safer pick. But I really, really like Kane, and I wouldn't be surprised if I change to Kane, because Kane looks really, really good. He's on pens. Spurs look really, really good, and I think Spurs will be a top 3 team next year. I think not challenging for the league, but I think they will be close to teams like Liverpool and City. I think they will be up there, and I think not owning a Spurs asset in my team will punish me, and they have really good fixtures to start off the season. So I will consider that, but that Bournemouth at home game during game week 2 is a great captaincy shot as well. So that also favors in Haaland's favor. And with Cancelo, a 7 mil fullback, City haven't signed a fullback yet, and they will only have Cancelo and Walker. Now, I could see myself tripling up on the City player with Kyle Walker, for like changing him for Zinchenko. If City come game week 1 doesn't sign a fullback, I see myself going with Kyle Walker, because Kyle Walker, for the price he is, 5 mil, and it's a cheap way to go into that City's defense. I think it's just a bargain for 5 mil. But if City sign Cucurella, I think I just put myself off Walker. But if they don't, Walker could be a really good option and an absolute bargain if City don't sign a fullback. For now, I will have Cancelo, but if City don't go on to sign a fullback, I see myself going for Walker instead of Zinchenko. But Cancelo, arguably, in my opinion, City are the best defense in the league because they keep a lot of the ball, makes teams hard to score, and I think Cancelo, he's got the number 7. That just shows how crucial he is to Pep's plan, because you don't give the number 7 to a random defender, and defenders often don't wear these kind of numbers. So it just shows how crucial of a player he is, and I think he will be a big part in the City's next season, hopefully successful season. And he's picked up 11 assists and 1 goal last year. He's massively underperformed his expected goals, and hopefully he could get more goals and assists. We added players like Haaland, Julian Alvarez coming in. With Haaland's a brilliant finisher. I think with those finishers, I think we can Cancelo, the playmaker, to create chances for those players, and those players are brilliant finishers. They finish those goals. I think we will see a lot of massive double digits hauls for Cancelo. So 7 mil. Their fixtures look great as well, and I think him, Robertson, and Trent are the best 3 defenders, but I still slightly favor him over Robertson because City are a slightly stronger defense. Next, we do have Reece James. Now, Reece James, I was eventually, thinking of Chilwell, but with Chelsea not looking the greatest during pre-season, and I think that will put me off doubling up or even tripling up on Chelsea's defense. I was thinking of a Chilwell, a Mendy, but now with Chelsea just looking really, really poor, they didn't look good in pre-season. They lost their last 2 pre-season games. I just don't see myself going near that Chelsea team unless we see massive improvements, massive signings. But for now, I will avoid that Chelsea, trying to avoid Chelsea as much as possible. But James, he's a brilliant option at 6 mil. I think he will be a really good option throughout the season. But I think for the start, I won't go for Chilwell because I really want to go for Chilwell. His data look really well. But, with Chelsea's poor start in the preseason, I just don't see myself going near that. I think I'll wait and see, and maybe if they picked up form, I will go for them. But for now, James is still my team. James offers great value at 6 mil. They start off playing Everton. Everton haven't done much during this summer window. A few signings, but their fans aren't really happy with them, and that just shows that they could be potentially a good team to target, and they haven't made much signings as well. So a great fixture. They have a great start to the season, and I think James could offer really good value. We've seen that massive haul potential in him. Those 18 pointers, those 20 pointers, we've seen it before last season, and I think we could see more of it this season. I think he offers great value at 6 mil. Next, we do have Pedro Neto, now at 5.5 coming in, and one of my cheaper budget enablers in my team. I think he is one important player because he creates the structure of the team. Now I was considering players like Liam Bailly at 5 mil. He's a great player as well, but I think for 0.5 more, you could get a Pedro Neto who have really good data, and we've seen it before the previous seasons. He's performed really well, and now some people might look at the points last season, but remember, he was injured throughout the season, and when he came back, he did get a few goals and assists. So I think Neto will play a big part, and Wolves have changed to a 4 at the back, so we could see Wolves strengthening their attack, and playing 4 at the back, meaning you're committing more men up the pitch, and I think we could see Wolves being more of an attacking side instead more defensively. I think they will improve attackingly, and they haven't made much signings, but I think they will make some signings, and I think Neto, even he can play as a striker. So if Wolves still play their 5 at the back thing, the fullback system, and they play 2 up front, Neto can play on the wing, Neto can play up front. He's very versatile, and I think that will be very crucial for his minutes as well. So if he's getting good minutes, I think he's just a no-brainer as well. 5.5 mil, great fixtures as well. Wolves potentially challenging for Europe next season. They could be a good team to look out for, but I think Neto, he offers great value at that price, and I think for the great fixtures with Wolves starting off with, I think he's just a no-brainer as well. And lastly, I do have Sanchez in goal. Now, you could say that Sanchez, you could argue saying that Sanchez isn't the best 4.5, Now that Man United fixture, I'm not expecting much, but I'm looking more of a long-term option because if you're going for Raya, I think Brentford, they have signed a new goalkeeper, and not only that, because Brentford, there are strong rumors, not rumors, but there is strongly believe that people believe in season syndromes, and meaning that they go down or suffer during the second season. And I think we could see a bit of that. Teams know how they play. It's not like they came in from the championship, because they are now a team who's played games in the Premier League. Teams know how they play. And I think we could see Brentford being more how you say, being more weaker defensively and attackingly. So with players like Christian Eriksen leaving as well, we could see Brentford get being slightly weaker. And I think Brighton, they've been really well last season. Brighton, they've kept a lot of clean sheets last year, and I think they were one of the most harder team to beat. And throughout the end of last season, we've seen Brighton improve defensively and picking up clean sheets. So I'm a big fan of that, and I think Brighton, I think we will be not less likely to triple up on Brighton, because Raya gets a Brentford slot, and I think we could look to go for a Brentford player like a Tony. But I think Sanchez, I think for Brighton, we won't. I think we will never look to triple up on them unless for double game weeks. But I think we will just not look to triple up on them, and he takes the Brighton slot, so it's not as important. I feel like Brentford's player slot is more important than a Brighton slot. So Sanchez, 4.5. He has brilliant fixtures. If you don't look at the United fixture, after that they do play sides like Fulham, Bournemouth. They do play greater. They have really good fixtures. So I think if you're looking at throughout the first 7 to 8 game weeks, in my opinion, I see Sanchez outscoring Raya, and Raya has competition. A bad game, a few bad games, Raya could be dropped. So I think Sanchez is a safer pick. And let's go move on to my bench. Still, I think just don't. In my opinion, if I go for Raya, I just really like having the first choice and my both goalkeepers from the same team. So Raya backup is the keeper they signed from Lazio. And then the 4 mil goalkeeper for Brentford, Balcombe, I think he is the third choice. So still is the second choice option. If Sanchez gets injured, still will come in. And I think at 4 mil, a second choice keeper, low ownership as well. Because if you go for highly owned goalkeeper, and if they don't play and a lot of people sell him, his price will drop 0.1. And if that 0.1 is not that important, you might say, but I think the 0.1 will come a long way. If you are 0.1 short of making a transfer, I think the 0.1 is really crucial. So trying to play with a bit of team value, I think we will have to build up our team value throughout the start of the season, when we're playing a lot of wild cards and free hits, more trips this season. So I think team value will be crucial as well. Next, I do have Jensen. Now, that 4.5 mil defender could change. I'm a big fan of Botman, but the one thing I'm not going for Botman is because that game week 3 fixture against City. Neto that week as well played Tottenham, and Jensen plays Fulham. So he could come in for Neto during that game. And I know we're not planning too far ahead. We're planning 3 game weeks into the season, but of course it's good to plan better than throughout the season we make transfers. I think saving transfers is really crucial. So rotation with Neto, I think that's one thing that favors Jensen. And then the fixture against Fulham is just great. If you say that Newcastle had like a Bournemouth or even a Crystal Palace, I would see myself going to Steve Boltman. But now with Newcastle, they do have a tough run of fixtures. They have a tough game against City that week. Jensen, they do have great fixtures, so I think at 4.5, he rotates well with Neto, and I think that one fixture favors Jensen. There's players like Dalot, Tomiyasu, but Tomiyasu doesn't look like getting minutes, so the only 4.5 mil defenders I'm considering are Botman, Jensen, and you could say Dalot. These are the 3 I'm looking at. Dunk as well, but the rest, Johnny, you could say maybe, but these few, there are a lot of 4.5s, and I think these 4 to 5 offers great value. So Jensen currently is in my draft. It could change come game week 1. I really want a Newcastle player because I feel like the defense will be strong, and I'm looking at players like Nick Pope, Trippier, and of course Botman. Next we have Andreas Pereira. Now he's made his move to Fulham since the last time I recorded my draft video. So he's gotten 2 assists in the preseason. He's on set pieces, as we know, and I think he will be really good coming clutch during those moments, maybe when we need to force to play him. Maybe we have injuries or something. I think he will offer great value, and 4.5 mil, I think he's just an absolute steal. Because, you know, we didn't expect him to make a move away from the club. We expected him to be a reserve player, but obviously he's made his move to Fulham. He's found himself starting during preseason. I think he will just be sitting on my bench unless the worst case scenario. And lastly, Archer. Aston Villa, they have looked quite decent during preseason, and Archer has got 2 goals during preseason, and he is, you know, getting minutes under Gerrard. So he's done well last season in the championship. I believe he played for Preston, if I'm not mistaken, and he's got a lot of minutes, and he's coming back, has a really good potential to get minutes, cheap, and he's loan owned. I think he will. I think looking at those 4.5 mils, I think we could see Archer getting quite a few minutes. So this is my team, and let's just put the captaincy on Salah. Let's say for now, I think he's a no-brainer, and the vice captaincy on Haaland. So let me know what you think of my team, and now I'm going to talk you guys through some main talking points in my team. So like players I will look out for and could come into my team. The first one is Leon Bailey. Now 2 goals and 2 assists during preseason, very strong preseason. So could look to go for him. Bailey, of course, 5 mil, a cheap, good cheap player, and that 0.5, maybe I downgrade Martinelli or Neto. I could upgrade my player like Sanchez to a Nick Pope, so Jensen to a Kevin Trippier. That could come a long way. So that's what I'm considering. Maybe one to look out for throughout the season. And Dalot, I talked about him just now. United, really looking strong, and as a United fan, I really believe that this is our year. We say that every year, but it's really looking have great potential to finish very up high top the table. You know, with Ten Hag coming in, we've looked really well. So Dalot is one to look out for, and I think he's gotten 1 assist as well. And the one I really like is Marcus Rashford. He's an exciting pick because he had a strong preseason as well. 2 goals, 1 assist, and United again look really strong. And I think as a United fan, to watch United every week and to have a United player in my FPL team would be good. But of course, in the FPL terms, I really like Martinelli and Neto, and they offer great value. So Rashford could be one to look out for. And if Ronaldo leaves, he is really strongly considered, because if Ronaldo leaves, I think he will be nailed on, as only his competition is Ilanga, maybe Ahmed Diallo, Palistri. But if Ronaldo stays, you know, we could see Martial shift to the left, or we could see Ronaldo play on the left. So there will be competition. But this is my team, guys, for game week 1. Let me know what you guys think of my team. Again, a lot could change. 11 days till the deadline, and it's been me, Jess FPL. I'll see you guys in the next one.